Well, it's been a minute.
Yes, it has.
Welcome to Unleashed. I'm James Razile. This is Andrew Fantasia. You're supposed to say your own name. I'm not walking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting the Skype lag and it's messing with my groove.
I'm not.
There's a disturbance in the force. I'm sorry.
You are
That's
the
me.
disturbance in the forest, Andrew Fantasia. That is who
It's
this
a good thing
is.
you know my name. That's the only reason I told you my name, because I knew Skype would probably lag at some point.
Nobody watching does. Everybody's like, "Who's this fraud? He doesn't like Star Wars." They think you're some kind of gamer. Anyway, so what were we talking about? D23.
Talking about D23. That's
No,
right.
but in all honesty, though, it has been a hot minute. We haven't recorded in over a month now, but some personal stuff came up in life, and you have to do what you have to do. And thank everybody for understanding and the support of, especially our patrons. You guys have been wonderful. So it meant a lot, meant a lot, and it still means a lot. I combined my words now. That also is what happened during that time. I started combining my words. But here we are. We're recording. Brock and I are going to be recording episode 1, whatever the hell it is. I don't even know anymore. You know what? We're just going to pretend we recorded all those weeks, and we're just going to call it episode 141 or something. And we'll just we'll just skip ahead in the future like that. D23 came about this weekend. D23, Disney Expo 23. The D is for Disney. The 23 is for the year 1923 when Disney was founded. And so they have a D23 Expo every other year, which I guess will now mean we'll have D23 one year, Celebration the next year, and so on and so forth as time goes on. And we were promised a lot of Star Wars goodies during D23. And, of course, no, I don't, Andrew.
Okay.
Andrew sent me a text message. He asked me a question, and the answer is no.
And a blind panic. All my technical questions are blind panics. James, how do I use a keyboard again?
It's actually true. It's actually true. Although we recorded this already and didn't hit record, so this is take 2. But anyway, D23 came out. We were promised an abundance of Star Wars, and we're like, what does that mean? We just had Celebration. What are we going to get? We're like, okay, we'll get the Mandalorian. I think we can all agree we're going to get the Mandalorian, and we did.
But you know what? It's funny. You say the abundance of Star Wars. For some reason, I don't know if I was clued out, but I didn't expect as much as we got. I literally expected a sizzle reel, and that's it. Like, not even footage from the movie. I just expected behind the scenes, no Mandalorian. Like, I was not expecting a thing.
Well, then you were not reading the press releases Disney said.
No.
Well, anyway, they promised that you would. That they didn't promise specific things, but they were like, the Mandalorian will be a panel this day, or it would be part of the. I think they said it would be part of the Disney Plus panel, which it was, and it blew everybody. Like, Disney Plus is just, boy, man. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, or even if you're not a Marvel fan, it was almost like, I don't like. You get all the Disney library. Plus, live action Lady and the Tramp. I love Lady and the Tramp. Every time I have spaghetti with meatballs, I'm always like, and I'm usually alone eating it. I just like doing it now. Actually, true story. Lady and the Tramp. Rented it as a child in VHS, and the preview in front of it was for Back to the Future 3. So for some reason, those two movies are always connected in my brain. Like, when I think of one, I think of the other all the time. It doesn't matter. Like, Back to the Future 3 is so disconnected from Back to the Future 1 and 2 for me that I associate it more with Lady and the Tramp than a Back to the Future movie. And I love Back to the Future 3. Yeah, when I was in front of it, and like every time you would watch it, I don't know, the 80s, man, or 90s or whatever, like early.
Well, it's like my Home Alone VHS had the Pepsi commercial at the beginning, so now I always think of Pepsi when I think of Home Alone.
Or like Alfred drinking Diet Coke with the Batmobile. It's a very like you'll recognize the car or whatever he says.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was awesome. I remember watching anyway. So let's talk about this a little bit. We'll get into the Mandalorian because I thought that was a lot of fun. But there were some things about it. Cassian Andor has been officially, like, it's happening, K2S, so it's him and Alan Tudyk. It's phenomenal. That's going to be, I think everybody's looking forward to that because I think most people liked Rogue One. They might not have loved Rogue One, but I think most people like Rogue One, and I think Cassian Andor was a character everybody kind of wanted to know more. Also, give me Bail Organa, which will lead us into Obi-Wan, which was connected, or announced. So that will connect Obi-Wan and Cassian Andor are connected through Bail Organa. So the events of one will connect directly to the other, and they are setting up their Marvel Cinematic Universe within Disney Plus. I made that up. But the Obi-Wan film, in my opinion, Andrew, was awesome news, obviously. But I think this really confirmed that there was a movie script, and they just kind of stretched it to however many episodes they're making of this show, because there's no way they would have got all those episodes written if they were just like, we should do it. And then that leads us to Clone Wars is coming out February 2020. We knew that.
Yes.
Well, we didn't know February, but we knew it was. I think everyone knew it was 2020. I think there was some wishful thinking that it would be earlier, but
we just known about it for so long. It feels like the wait has been.
Yeah, like now it's like, oh, it's actually happening. Fantastic, great news. And then of course, Rise of Skywalker, which there was a sizzle reel first show.
I've never heard of that movie. What's this about?
I don't know. But there was a sizzle reel shown on Thursday or Friday. And then on Sunday, they were like, here you go. And they showed the Skywalker saga in theatrical chronological order. Not character order. Theatrical chronological order. And then and then it turned into a trailer. Like it turned into that crappy ass font they've been using since The Force Awakens. The Final Cut 10 font of like, oh, like I don't know, like it's the cheapest looking font. It's like it matches the Rogue One title card font. You're like, where did they get this? Like Paint, MS Paint is where they got their fonts for these movies. But now I'm like excited when I see that font. And then Andrew,
it's become synonymous now.
Yeah. Now Andrew, walk us through what that font led us into.
That font looked beautiful. It always does. First of all, before I start, I want to give a shout out to somebody, a friend of mine I used to work with.
Oh, yeah, you haven't done that yet because we recorded this already.
Yeah, because but this is strike 2 now. My friend Alan Carson. Alan Carson is a gentleman I used to work with. Just to give you an idea of how cool Mr. Carson is, this man got married in the year of our Lord, 1977, and on his honeymoon, he told his new wife, hey, let's go across the street. Do you mind if we go see a movie? There's that Star Wars thing that's playing. I want to go see what that's all about. That was his honeymoon in early June 1977. God bless that man, Alan Carson. He literally messaged me like an hour before we started recording, and he sent me the link to the trailer, and he's like, oh my God, Andrew, look at this. And I was like, I know. I'm just about to talk about it. So I told him I'd give him a little shout out. Alan, you're a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Thank you for being a Star Wars fan.
Shout out to Alan.
Now this trailer, man, like I don't even know where to start here because I wasn't expecting a trailer. I wasn't expecting any shots from the movie. So when it came time to see it, I was like writing down a bunch of notes here, and I think if I had one takeaway, if I had one thing that like took my breath away from this, it was all those Star Destroyers in the sky. That really that something about that shot, man. Like it was scary and it was beautiful, and it was like we very rarely get to see big ships in low orbit. So when we do, it's kind of neat. So to have that 1-2 punch of like all the rebellion ships coming out of hyperspace, and then boom, here come the Star Destroyers, and there's a bunch of them. That gave me chills. Did you like that?
I did, and I liked the rebellion ships as well. Did you notice that Disney kind of changed the name of all the timelines? Instead of the prequel trilogy, is now the Age of the
Age of Republic,
Rebellion and Resistance. So
I like that. It makes it really easy to differentiate.
And I also really like that the Cassian Andor show and the Obi-Wan show were in like the same graphic, like the same type of logo, which is I think what they lost sight of with Solo and Rogue One. They should have stuck it like just like these are things and anyway, whatever. Yeah, I like that shot a lot. Look, I've actually only seen this twice. Once on my phone right here, this thing right here.
Oh, that's your phone? Okay.
That phone right there. But I saw it here. I saw it at work. I got a red one too. I saw it at work, and I had to hear it like this when they was talking. So I didn't really watch it, but I did. And then I showed Aaron when I got home from work, and I really saw it, and I was like, ooh.
What were Aaron's takeaways?
Literally all she said was, so everybody lost their bleep, and then like walked away. Well, she knows she has no choice but to see it, and she thought it looked cool, but yeah, it was. She's like, so everybody lost their bleep, and they did, and the Twitterverse went haywire. People were like ripping their hair out. People like it was like people were rioting on the streets. Like LA, I think, is up in flames right now. Same with Vancouver and Montreal.
It is. Yeah.
They all rioted like crazy people because that's what those cities do in time of celebration. That's what I know of them. I love them all. They're all great cities. It's true.
There's a piece of music. If there's any Simpsons fans watching out there, you know what I'm talking about. There's a piece of music that they use in The Simpsons every time there's a riot or like the town succumbs to like mob mentality. It kind of sounds like a Planet of the Apes-y kind of music, like I can't give it justice, but I'm thinking of that. I'm picturing that as you're saying all these people reacting, like throwing mailboxes, whatever, reacting to how this trailer was. And it's the mental picture it's putting in my head with that music is fantastic. I wish you were here in my brain to see it play out.
I never want to enter your brain. But we got to talk about the thing that we've kind of been hoping for in some capacity. At least I have. Actually, I want to talk about one thing first. Everybody, including me, I think the most uninteresting thing about Rey is that she just kind of, Kylo downloaded the Force into her, the knowledge into her brain. I think that's just lazy writing. I think Daisy Ridley's phenomenal as Rey, and I still think Rey has the potential to be one of the most, if not one of the most interesting characters in Star Wars, period. But I think they've been giving her a little bit of a disservice because they're hiding too much of her, about her. Like they just keep hiding it, and you're like, well, now we're like 2 movies in. So anyway, the exciting thing is obviously the last thing we're going to talk about, but the sequence in the woods where she throws that lightsaber and then catches it like a badass. Like, it's pretty awesome. But if you notice, there seems to be in that shot the training orb from A New Hope.
Yeah.
That seems to be in that shot. So are we finally, like, is J.J. Abrams like, oh my God, people need to shut up about the training. Let's give her a scene where she's training. Do you think we're finally going to get that?
You know what, man? That's really... I'd never thought of that. That's really funny and really smart. Yeah, like I would love to see that, actually, a Rocky montage with Rey. Like she's running on the beach, she's throwing her lightsaber around. We get Carl Weathers' character from Mandalorian crossing over, and he's like timing her. He's on the bike behind her, timing her. Yes, all of that. I want to see a training montage.
Like, how awesome would it be though? In that scene, she's like, and Leia's there, and Leia's talking to her brother and her father, and maybe her son's namesake, Obi-Wan, like Ben Kenobi. Like, what if they're there, like, training Rey, with Rey? Like, during this year that's passed in between movies, we have been with you. We've taught you everything we know. 1,000 generations live within you because this is what's happening. It's all coming down to you boomeranging your lightsaber.
You just fried my brain. I can't. Like, I'm just thinking of, like, again, my mind's going to Rocky, where Mickey is like heckling him during all the training. I'm replacing Mickey with Yoda, Luke, Obi-Wan, and Anakin, maybe even a Qui-Gon or a Mace, and like they're all just standing around talking to her. Oh my God, please.
In that montage, the part that gave me the shivers, I swear to you, it was when they showed Mace Windu. Because part of me was like, when I watched it, especially the second time, like the first time I was like, Mace! Like, I was like, what am I watching? Is this really, like, is this the right link? Like, that was my first thought. But the second time it gave me the shivers because I was like, there's got to be, and it could have just been they wanted to put Samuel L. Jackson in that shot. I don't know. But I felt like they were showing you clips on purpose.
Yes.
You weren't getting anything by accident. Unless, of course, they were just like, remember, Samuel L. Jackson was in Star Wars, like, which is a possibility because they want to excite you. But I really feel like the order it was in, everything was done on purpose. There was no mistakes. There was no like, oh, it'd be cool this. It was that. Darth Maul pulls out that double-bladed lightsaber to remind you in case you need reminding. But a casual fan watching Good Morning America might not remember. And then she has one. You're like, oh, right. That's a thing. So I like the Mace Windu thing gave me a chill because it was the close-up of him as well. Like, it was like flat out like, this guy's in the movie. No, I don't think he's coming back.
It was interesting because they wouldn't like there was no sort of fade or anything to differentiate between movies. Like, they just kind of cut shot to shot. And when it came time to get to Revenge of the Sith, that was the first shot in Revenge of the Sith. Like, when you think of that movie, you think of like Vader, Mustafar, Anakin, whatever. No, their first intro to Episode 3 was Mace.
And I don't think he's appearing in this. I mean, I could be completely wrong. That the Legends of the Force Ghost book or whatever that's coming out only says that it's like Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Yoda that have been talking to Luke. So I don't think that Mace learned how to become a Force Ghost. But there might be a reason why they showed him, and they showed that moment. There could be a reason.
All I'm saying, if I was an old Jedi alone by myself, spending lonely nights on Ahch-To, I would probably want to talk to Ayla Secura's ghost. That's all I'm saying. But carry on.
Well, I know, but it might not be Mace, though. It might be the moment that they showed with Palpatine.
Yeah.
That could be a defining moment for whatever. I don't know why or whatever, but that could be a defining moment. And it kind of is. Obviously, that's when he creates Vader. But it was just intriguing to me that they went with that shot of Mace Windu. Of all the things you could show from that movie, they're like, here's Mace. It made me happy, and I got shivers. But I thought it was well done. That training montage that we're going to call it now is awesome. The planet that they're on, Pisana. You finally got to see Pisana a little bit.
Yeah.
But in this trailer, there was no Rose Tico, no Hux, no Jar Jar, no R2, and no, who else was missing? There's a lot of people missing, obviously.
I think no Lando,
There was Lando from Jedi, though.
Right.
But yeah, but no, not in the, I guess not in the, not in the, Lando, well, is he going to have a big role? You know, like, or is he just there? So I got to ask you a question, the side Akbar right now. How much of this movie is fan service?
Oof. I'm going to say like at least 90% of this movie is
9-0?
Yeah, man. I think that the ways he wraps up his loose threads, he's going to make those ways fan service. And I think one of those is Palpatine. I mean, just Palpatine being in it is fan service. And I'm sure he's not just in it for giggles. Like, he's in it to answer questions and close up some loose ends. So that right there, that's a 2-for-1 deal. You get your fan service and you get your plot service.
I know you and I are both on the same page when it comes to just keep the characters dead. When they're dead, they're dead. Just keep them dead. And CVP was always dead. But I'm okay with him coming back because the one thing that this trilogy was lacking, especially after Last Jedi, was a big bad. Like, who is the big bad? And how do you have a big bad on par with the previous big bad or bigger than the last big bad, who was big bad for 6 movies spanning 40 years or whatever? Like, it's like, no, you're just not going to do it. And then when The Last Jedi came out, that's when they first announced this is the Skywalker saga. And you're like, okay. So what makes it the Skywalker saga? CVP makes it the Skywalker saga, apparently, right? So what I'm curious is, did he create the name Skywalker? Like, did he give Shmi the name Skywalker? Because he might have created Anakin, which would have created Luke and Leia and Ben and all that stuff. So, I mean, is that the thing? So, I'm curious about that. I know a lot of people are yelling at me right now that, no, Ben is the Skywalker, which is very plausible. I'm not saying he's not, but CVP, that doesn't change what I just said either, though. That didn't change it. But are you okay with CVP's return? Even though you don't know. I mean, I'm sure after the movie you will be, but right now, are you?
I'm okay with it because A, I'm very biased, but yes. B, I feel like Star Wars has that sort of, it has that leeway where it's not just like, I'm alive again. Like, he could be a ghost, he could be a holocron, he could be a hologram. Like, there's any number of things he could be. I'm not expecting him in the flesh in this film, unless it's a flashback. I'm not expecting Palpatine to like hold Rey's hand and be like, I'm really here in front of you. I'm expecting something a bit more supernatural or technological than that. So that's where I give it this leeway. Because you're right. Otherwise, I'm very much against like, just bring back dead people. Who cares about stakes? That's why I don't spend money on comic books, folks, from the superhero comic books, because they don't have stakes.
Right, go see those damn movies where they just don't stay dead. They never stay dead. They're like, hey, Loki's still alive. They never stay dead. No, but the thing with the fan service that I want to touch on is I just watched Endgame again for the second time. It's very long, that but the second time I watched it, I still enjoyed it quite a bit, and I really appreciated the thing with Endgame that I like. The reason why I think I like it more than Infinity War is I appreciate the effort and respect that went into writing it and retconning essentially the 21 films that preceded it. It took those movies, it took moments from them, and they said, you know what would be cool if we did this with that moment, and they incorporated it in there to end it. And I was like, this is like that episode, the series finale of Seinfeld, but a bit better. It was like it was a clip show, but they found a way to do it, and it felt satisfying, and it knew how to end it. But every aspect of that movie is fan servicey. Like, it's so fan service. And I talked about this with you with the Red Skull in Infinity War. I was like, that is a fan service throw-in. And I'm okay with that because it worked. And they were like, they explained it. They're like,
yeah,
this is why it works. And you're like, that makes sense. I can allow that. If fan service doesn't work when you just throw like an Ewok in an X-Wing to fight at the end of this movie. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't work unless, of course, the Ewok's been there the entire movie. Then I'm like, bitch, please. but like the Ewok, like, you can't just have like an Ewok flying an X-Wing. It doesn't make sense because Ewoks are primitive and they use spears and all this. That's what I'm saying. So for me, I think they did that very, very well, and I'm expecting a level of that in the Rise of Skywalker. But I'm not sure how. I don't think 90%, but I also kind of hope for it a little bit because I think that's really what George Lucas, he did it a lot, obviously, in the prequels, and it pissed a lot of people off, but I think people appreciate that. And I think what's one of the biggest complaints about the sequel trilogy that people have? Where are the aliens? Where are the familiar aliens? Just throw us like 3 Greedos and we'll all be like, yeah, best movie of the year. You know, like just like little things like that. I think they go a long way. You throw in Maz's castle has a few aliens we all know and love. It goes a long, long way, especially 20 years from now when we watch all 9 movies as one.
Yeah, exactly. And what I love that they're doing here, and this is another thing, you bring up Endgame, which was so freaking smart in Endgame, is yes, it's looking back and it's fan service, but it's not just fan service of greatest hits. You know, it's not just the greatest hits album, because guess what Endgame reminded us of? Thor: The Dark World, a movie that almost everybody disliked.
I actually liked it.
You actually liked it, yeah. So you're in the minority. Most people were not fans of Thor: The Dark World, but I love when things that aren't necessarily great are made better just by association. Like, I can watch John Carpenter's first Halloween 2 because it's attached to Halloween 1. You know, I can. My brain likes when that happens. It kind of welcomes slightly lesser loved things into the fold. So bringing The Dark World into Endgame, brilliant. And now Star Wars is doing the same thing. Yeah, let's take this double-bladed lightsaber from this movie that a lot of people like to poo-poo, and let's put it in this movie that a lot of people are going to really, really enjoy, when it's also going to be 3 hours long, just like Endgame, because Andrew said so.
Or people... do you think... anyway, we'll talk about this another day. I just want to get into Dark Rey. Let's talk about C-3PO's red eyes. Fudge, bro.
Yes, that is my. That's the big one. That more than Dark Rey.
But is that just him being something downloaded into a system? You wouldn't recognize me because of the red eyes. Yeah.
Well, I don't think there's anything sinister going on there.
He's the first son of Skywalker.
He's the Anakin is his maker. But I mean, like, what did you and Brock ask me back in March at Toronto Comic-Con? You asked me, a thing about Rise of Skywalker, and I said, look, this is going to be C-3PO's time to shine, and I'm standing by that. This is going to be his movie.
It was actually Never Tell Me the Odds, and you came up with the odd. You said, will this be C-3PO's time to shine?
That's right. See, I have a selective memory.
I actually think 3PO's only in half of this movie tops. That doesn't mean he's not a huge part of that half, but I think he's half of the movie tops, and I think the moment that we saw is going to be a big moment for 3PO, a culmination of all 9 movies or he's been in 10 movies, I guess, but all 9 of his real parts. Look, for me, I really, I don't want to say it too much, but I don't want to be disappointed because it probably won't happen. But I want this movie to end with R2D2 being shut down for good. That is how I want this freaking movie to end. Just close it, and the iris out is the one last time he goes, and then his whole eye just kind of goes like this, and he closes, and we watch it close for the last time. And that's how I want this to end. I don't think it will because there's been zero emphasis on R2D2 through this whole thing. But if I got one wish, it would be for that. He doesn't have to be in any of the movie. I just want it to end like that. But I hope I hope 3PO does get a moment. Because unlike R2, I mean R2 had Kenny Baker, but he's since passed. But Anthony Daniels is still around. He's been an ambassador for the brand. He's there. He promotes it. He's always been 3PO. Look, they can make 3PO CG. They could have made him CG in the prequels. George Lucas somewhere was like,
oh yeah,
that he was biting. He wanted to, but they just like, hey, Anthony Daniels. And even when it was kind of a CG thing, it was Anthony Daniels in his green leotard walking around, doing it. So. I hope he gets something awesome to do. Again, I mean, right now I'm disappointed in R2D2 in The Force Awakens. I also think it's kind of dumb, that whole sequence. But in the moment, I wasn't too disappointed. Like I was like, I wish R2 was in this more. But you understand why he's not in it. They obviously want BB-8 to be this big thing. And and anybody that didn't know that he didn't have the map, you just have never seen a movie before. Like right away, it's like, well, he needs to wake up to give him the rest of the map. It was very obvious that's what it was. So he was actually a big part of finding Luke Skywalker, and then his scene in The Last Jedi is one of the best scenes in that movie by far, with him and Luke Skywalker. So anyway, C-3PO's red eyes.
Yeah, man, that is. And I was trying to figure out the background there too. I like to look at the backgrounds, like where are they right now? And I can't figure out where he's just getting up from a table like Frankenstein. There's something going on there. I can't wait for that scene more than anything else.
Oh, remember, he gets a crossbow. The rumor is he has a crossbow in this movie on that one poster that might have been fake. He's holding a crossbow. Like it seems to add up with that. Like whatever those red eyes are, like Spider-Man kill mode, and and he's like, Chewie, give me your crossbow, pew pew, and it's like when he's in Geonosis, and he's like, oh, I'm really enjoying this. Like that's the 3PO we're gonna get back in this moment. Do you actually think that this movie's gonna top the Battle of Geonosis?
I hope it tops everything.
Oh, I know you hope it does, but do you think it will?
I think the battle will, for sure. I think the battles will top anything we've seen before.
I'm curious if they're going to make the battle take place in like Pisana, or if they go back to Tatooine for the last battle. Like, is the last battle going to be on a planet that we know, or is it going to be a brand new planet? Yeah.
Well, that's what's kind of curious about what we saw here. We saw a little bit of that duel, the Rey and Kylo duel
on the Death Star.
On something metallic. On like a water, looks like they're going down like a waterfall or some rapids or something. So it basically looks like the Mustafar fight, but with water instead of lava. And I'm curious if that is the only duel in the film between those two.
No,
you don't think so?
No.
So if that's the case, are we seeing their last duel or are we seeing their first duel?
No. I have no idea. I think that it actually is a good question. I say no, half serious, because I think we're in for more than one. But I also think that we might only be in for one real one. The other one might be disguised with like it's a Knights of Ren duel against Rey, perhaps. Mm-hmm. The thing that stuck out with me, so you were at Celebration because, you ditched me and you just went. You were like, James, we're going to leave. Right. And I said, yeah. And then you were like, oh, I'm on the plane. And I was like, oh, thanks. But you were there.
You were waiting for me to pick you up. And I was like, yeah, I'm flying over Illinois.
You were there. And I was actually, I plugged with my little adapter. I plugged my phone into my XLR cable in my car because I drive a car from 1977. And I listened to the Star Wars Celebration panel. So it's the Star Wars Episode 9 Rise of Skywalker panel hosted by Stephen Colbert. On my way to an EB Games where I watched it as I shopped for nothingness at EB Games, which is our GameStop here in Canada. And I was listening, and in that car ride, J.J. Abrams said, he's like, I thought it would be kind of interesting to see, these opposite sides fighting another threat. And I was like, did he just say that? And Stephen Guerrero goes, what's the other threat? And they just kind of ignored it. And obviously, we find out that SheVP is a part of this movie.
Yeah.
But how deep does SheVP go? We know there are going to be Sith troopers, but they might be Kylos. They might be SheVPs. We don't know. There's Knights of Rens. They might be Kylos. He's supposedly the leader of the Knights of Ren, but maybe they're Palpatines, really. Maybe Palpatine's like, actually, you want to come here? So is it Rey and Kylo against Sith troopers, Rey and Kylo against the Knights of Ren, and then they have a duel at some point? Does Kylo have a vision of Rey turning to the dark side, and then Kylo has to fight Rey? Do Rey and Kylo fight early on the remnants of the Death Star because they're trying to find this SheVP artifact thing that they need to find that releases SheVP, and he just becomes this big thing, and then he possesses Rey, and then good Kylo has to, or bad Kylo, whatever he is at the time, has to fight evil Rey, that's why she looks so possessed and looks kind of fake, because she's not really there. It's actually SheVP who's possessed her. I don't know, and anybody can say anything is stupid, that's fine, but I don't know. Do you know? If you know, let me know. JJ, call me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think we're going to see more than one, but I think there will be one epic one. I kind of believe that Death Star scene is 30 to 37 minutes in the movie.
Ooh. Considering how long this movie is going to be, that's a
okay,
nice
wait.
little,
if the movie's like
chunker.
if the movie is like 3:05, then that's like 45 minutes in. But if it's like 2:17, then it's like 30. I still have this feeling that the majority of what we're seeing is from the first half of the movie. Because
that's very true.
He did that with The Force Awakens. Like The Force Awakens was like, here's the first 30 minutes of the movie. Then as I got closer, you saw a little bit more, but you didn't see anything leading up to it. So I kind of still feel like we'll give you more than we did with The Force Awakens, because we have to, because now people are excited, now people hate. But at the same time, I feel like they're like, they don't show all of their cards, I don't think.
No. Well, let me ask you this. Never tell me the odds here. I did this crazy thing when I was rewriting the prequels just for my own.
Which we will turn into a radio drama.
And I did this thing. We will turn into a radio drama one of these days. And I did this thing in the Attack of the Clones script where I had a lightsaber fight that was 3 people involved, but it wasn't 2 versus 1. It was 1 versus 1 versus 1. It was everybody was out for themselves. Do you think we will see a fight like that in Rise of Skywalker? Some of the odds.
I want to cop out and say full Brock.
Ooh.
I can see it. I can see it, but I also can see them not doing that. It depends on how they want this to play out. And I really, is Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, Ben Skywalker, is he the Rise of Skywalker? We have an idea to talk about, which is like 4 months old now, but is Luke the Rising going on? There's just so many questions. Is Rey the Skywalker that rises? The reason why I'm bringing that up is because that, for me, would play into whether or not that would happen, right? Like, if Kylo is the rise, then probably not. But if Rey...
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I can see it happening here just because I feel like this is going to be, like, all
this
out.
Is where, it's all... Yeah, it would be fun here. I'm going to go 45%.
How much? Sorry?
45.
45.
Because I want it to happen, but I just... There's something... I just feel like the way J.J. Abrams worded it, too, was teaming up to, getting together to fight off a bigger threat. I almost feel like they wouldn't put that much stress on them on anything. Like, they'd be like, okay, we're getting to this point. You two have to team up to take out this person, or vice versa. And it might be, who knows, maybe it's Rey and SheVP team up to take out Kylo.
Wow. I'm a good guy now.
You know what? The next how many 4 months, how many months do we have? 3 months, 4 months that we have to get to the Rise of Skywalker. I'm just gonna go balls to the wall and say whatever I feel like. It's gonna be Sheevy and Rey, and they're gonna team up to fight Kylo. Am I wrong? We'll find out December 20th.
And then they get married, and it's Shaylo.
All three of them get married.
Yeah,
Shaylo for sure. It's gonna be a great time. I know. Look, December. It's opens it's the thing with that we were worried about when The Last Jedi ended. It was like, well, what the hell are we going to talk about for 2 years? Like, it kind of closed out, and now we're like, oh my god, oh my goodness, there's a can of worms, and it has been opened up like crazy to me. And now we can speculate and have fun. And this is what Star Wars is. It's having fun. And I don't care if you're right about everything. I don't care if I'm right about everything. Let's just have fun. We get to talk. We get to see. She goes, like her saber. I'm like, I will buy the Elite Series Dark Rey. I will buy the Black Series Dark Rey. I will cosplay as Dark Rey. I will wear my hair like Dark Rey. I think red lightsabers are the coolest, so I would buy, if we went to Galaxy's Edge tomorrow and they're like, you can have Dark Rey's lightsaber, and it is the most boring looking lightsaber, I'd be like, yeah, I'll probably get that one. Because right now it's the coolest lightsaber. Like, it's seriously, it's like, it's a double blade, and then she, like, I don't know what she does. She does, blah, blah, and then it goes, and you're like, oh my god.
I want to see all the blooper takes where she drops it. It's like, oh shit. That image of Dark Rey, I still have to process it, because to me it looks like a fake thing that somebody drew for their fan fiction.
It's probably a vision. It's probably a Dagobah style vision.
Because it looks like it belongs on the thumbnail for a Mike Zero video. And you're absolutely right. There's no way in hell that if there was a I'm a bad guy now twist with Rey, that JJ would play that card in August. There's no way.
Unless that scene takes place really early and she's like, I won't go down that path. And then later on it's like, oh yeah, and she goes down that path, and she makes and JJ Abrams and Daisy Ridley make James super happy, because I've wanted Rey to go bad ever since that one trailer where she shoots the gun. Remember that trailer? As soon as she shot that gun, I'm like, she has a lot of anger in her. But here, okay, side Akbar, end of the Skywalker saga. This movie ends, Rey turns dark, slices Kylo Ren in half, and walks on, and is now the villain in the next trilogy.
First of all, I love how your idea of Rey going down the dark path, it sounds like CDP just like put her inside like his panel van, and he like cranked up some motley crew, and she's like, oh yeah, well, I've been missing this whole time. Another trilogy with her as the villain.
It's not the Skywalker saga.
It's not the Skywalker saga. You're right, and you know what? I know she's not been in much, so this isn't saying much, but I haven't seen Daisy Ridley play bad. And I'm curious to see what that looks like. So I would be on board. I would dig that. As long as they find a way to end this movie so it still feels like a beautiful exclamation point at the end of the Skywalker saga. Don't end with an ellipsis or a semicolon. End with an exclamation point.
I want to argue with you right now, because Endgame ends it, but it also doesn't end it. And it feels like an ending. Like, it's pretty, like, I'm satisfied when I finish that movie. They could pull that off.
Yes, that's true.
They could pull that off, like, in a way. And I know exactly what you mean, but I think there's a way to. I really do kind of think that this is some kind of vision or whatever. Because what? But man, that image with the two, like, does she kill Kylo Ren, takes his Kyber crystal, and creates a double-bladed lightsaber with... Because her blade is like... Also, or is this a vision where she sees in an alternate reality, much like the beginning of The Last Jedi novelization, where Luke, it's a dream Luke, and she sees a world where she became Kylo Ren. And it was her, and maybe that was the path that she was on, and that's why in The Last Jedi she gets sucked into that cave, and Luke's like, you went there with no problem. That's how Luke sounds in my voice. And she's drawn to the dark side. When she shoots the gun in The Force Awakens, there's so much anger in that face.
Let me ask you this question, because I feel like this is something that JJ would do, and I feel like if I was making this movie, this is something that I would do. Just a tool with all you Star Wars junkies out there. What if what we're seeing is a totally different scene, but just for the trailer, he's lit it differently, whatever. Like, what if in the movie that lightsaber is purple and she's still good, but she's just rocking a cloak and she's walking somewhere dark and she's off to do good things, but he's messing with our head?
Well, that would explain the Mace Windu thing, but here's my problem with that is the blade shaking like Kylo. It's Kylo's blade. It's Kylo's kyber crystal. That's what it is. It's a synthetic kyber crystal.
She could have found another old one.
Yeah, but I think here's my problem with that is if he lit it differently and it's actually a bright scene, that's one thing. But to change the color of the blade in the trailer. And to a red blade, like if you change it to a green blade, that's one thing, but it's a red blade, which is symbolic with the dark side, with being evil, and to kind of take that away and make it purple it's basically saying Benedict Cumberbatch isn't Khan. It's like it's just a straight up lie, and it's false advertising, and we could sue for millions.
Oh, okay. In that case, I really hope that's what he did.
But you know what I mean? Like that to me, that just feels like that's going too far. Then don't put it in the trailer. Then just like put like a purpley sheen around her. But my goodness, Fantasia, if she becomes evil, I don't think I could be a happier individual. She won't.
Because you called it very early on.
No, it has nothing to do with calling it. It has to do with I would like. Because, look, I love the prequels, but I think Anakin's fall is a little bit rushed and choppy. And and if Rey turns, I like she could still turn. And the other thing with the prequels is he's going to turn, but if she turned, there's like I've said before that I'm like I don't think she's going to turn because we've seen that she's too good almost, like she's almost too good at this point. But they have dropped enough hints along the way for us to see that. And what this image has done more than anything is nobody has said that Han Solo is her father since I've seen this image has dropped.
Yeah.
Nobody has said that. Because he is. But nobody has said that. I think that they're showing a little bit more of their hand than I think they ever wanted to, and that's because of the reception The Last Jedi got and the box office of Solo. And I think when Star Wars is in the theater, it has to be what I've said before, an event film. And I think they want us all to go there saying, oh my God, she has, like when I was a kid and you watch a trailer, it didn't tell you everything, but it told you enough, and you go and be like, I'm so excited for this part. Yeah. And like as a kid, you would go and you'd be like, I want to see this part. Even though you saw it, you were still excited to see that. And I think, and I'm hoping that that's what this movie does is I go in there, I'm like, as an adult now who's too old to be that excited, but be like, I can't wait to see this happen and how it happens. As a kid, you don't care how it happens, but as an adult, I'm like, how does she get a double-bladed red lightsaber? Is that Rey? Is that a clone of CVP? Is that a Knight of Ren? Is that a clone of this? Is that a clone of that? Is that what is happening in that moment? And I'm really excited to see the fruition of it all. Same.
Whatever happens, I'm gonna have a good time.
Yeah, we know you are. You're still like the last guy on YouTube that defends The Last Jedi. It's true, you do though.
Yeah, I love. I get a lot of flack for this, for loving Star Wars almost unconditionally. Even though, hey, the last time I was on this channel, I was throwing some furious shade at Thrawn Treason.
Yes,
for good reason, because it is not a good book. And I think
I think it's healthy. I think it's healthier to be objective to everything. You don't have to. I just want to cite Akbar very quickly because I've noticed that, because we haven't been recording, but I've still been watching some videos and stuff, and just people's. The one thing that gets to me more than anything is when you watch a video and it's somebody who didn't like The Last Jedi, and then they just kind of rip it apart, and then they rip apart the people that like The Last Jedi, and then you watch a video with people that like The Last Jedi. And they'll do it, and this goes both ways, where you'll watch a video and it has nothing to do with The Last Jedi. It could be about Indiana Jones 5. And all of a sudden they'll be like, and you know what? That Rian Johnson should direct this movie because he's the best director ever. And it's like, okay, well, you're just, and like, and if you didn't like The Last Jedi, you don't understand. It's like, but why? Like, it's just like, I've been finding that on both sides. So it's like, if you like, who wants to see Knives Out? Rian Johnson ruined my life. Like, and it, like,
wow.
But it's like, I've been seeing it on both sides, and it's just, let it go. Let's chill out. We're all fans of whatever. You don't have to like all the movies, and even if you do like it, doesn't mean that if somebody didn't like it, like everybody's entitled to their opinion. Some people voice it louder than others, but I think there's an issue on both sides of the fandom right now. There's a clashing going on, and I didn't watch a lot of videos for a little while because I was like, what? And I stuck to podcasts, strictly audio podcasts, where people like things. I've noticed that people like things more where they're not making advertising dollars, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we just got 77 cents for this Unleashed episode. we probably got actually way less than that, but the 31 views that it's at right now is not paying my bills. But I really hope that eventually society gets to a place where movies aren't I don't know, just idolized the way that they are. Like, it's fun. Like, we come on here and we talk about them, and it's maybe I'm contradicting myself, but we come on here, we talk about it, it's fun. But like, just arguing 2 years after a movie comes out whether or not it's good, or hating people 2 years later because they didn't like it, or like who like. So
yeah, you're not gonna get anywhere with that. You're never gonna make yourself.
And it's
happy.
just like, and I like The Last Jedi. And I watch videos of people who like The Last Jedi who just start ripping on it, and I'm just like, well, now you've lost me because I'm tired of the arguing of that, and I think Disney they can say, Lucasfilm can say that the majority like The Last Jedi, and it's just a few loudmouths, which is true. You all, like, whenever there's customer service, you worked in customer service. When somebody has a problem, you hear it a lot. You never hear, "Oh, this was a great coffee, Andrew." It's always like, "This is terrible. It's cold." You never hear the good stuff. So there is some truth to that. There's truth in legends. But I also think that they're aware that, hey, Marvel has done this thing where they've shown fans like trust us, and I think now Star Wars was like, you know what, we strung you along, trust us, we know what you want, we'll figure it out, and that is why we're getting Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that's why the Mandalorian, I think, looks like the Christmas special Boba Fett a little bit. The color scheme threw me off. Like, I was like, that's awesome. And Cassian Andor, I think that's why we're getting those, and why we're going to get some fun Star Wars stuff down the road. Anyway, rant over. Andrew, take it home.
Look, when there's people that I talk to who are, they'll bash all the new Star Wars stuff, and they have, and I mean like everything, not just Last Jedi, but everything. And, their mindset is stuck on nothing's ever going to be better than Empire Strikes Back. That's what these people always kind of make their point with. And I like to go into every single Star Wars movie from like Phantom Menace to now. I go into every one of these movies hoping, like, I hope this is so good it makes Empire Strikes Back look like trash. I hope that Episode 9 and the Benioff and Weiss movies and the Rian Johnson trilogy are so good that when I look back at Empire, I'm like, oh, geez, I have to sit through that now to get through these ones. Because everybody wins that way. Everybody wins if we just keep getting better and better.
The Phantom Menace was my favorite Star Wars movie when I saw The Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
Suck on that one.
Yeah. Ahmed best. We love you, Ahmed.
Oh, man, if Jar Jar showed up in anything.
Do you think we could get Ahmed as a guest on the show? Like, how doable do you think it is? I say 1.9%.
I'm going to go 11%.
I like that better.
Yeah, I'm going to go 11%. You know, I might try. But I feel like you think I'm faking my fandom for for Jar. But I was like,
all he has to do is Google search our show and like look up any random episode and
but
see you with like a Jar Jar pin.
No, but like if we had the video of me getting the Jar Jar pin in the mystery box, that would seal it. But that was the one that wasn't recorded. Was like, because I was like, oh, Ezra, that's cool. Then like, who was it? Was it you or Rob? Or so I was like, there's another pin in there. I go, whoa. And like everybody in the hall and the room was just like, what? I'm like, I got Jar Jar. And they're like, we all got Jar Jar. He's in every box. And I was like, this is the best day of my life. And I still like hold that pin up every once in a while. I'm like, this is a damn fine pin. Like,
those pins were beautiful.
They were. That was Derek Loffman who designed them. You can watch an interview I did with him at Fan Expo 2 years ago now. We were just at Fan Expo Toronto yesterday, so a couple days ago, if you guys are watching this. That was fun. We'll have a video up soon on the channel of your shenanigans there. Audio's not the best because something happened. Shocking. Anyway, Andrew, let's wrap this thing up. Any last thoughts you have on... we're going to do another video soon about The Mandalorian because I think we need to split these up. But how do you feel about Rise of Skywalker? Anything new you want to add?
I feel like it's very well timed because you said it yourself at the top of this video. We had a very busy summer. You know, we couldn't record very much on the channel. It was hectic all around this summer. I spent the majority of the summer, like all my downtime, like I didn't have a lot of it for some weird reason, and I don't even have a 9-to-5 job. But literally all my downtime this August, all I did was I marathoned the James Bond movies, and I was just for the past like 40 days, all I've been thinking of is, man, I can't wait for Bond 25. And now this comes out right at the opportune time. My Bond marathon is over. Everything's coming back. Rebel Scum podcast is slowly but surely coming back, and we're just like, oh yeah. And now we're excited for Star Wars again. Like it all just kind of clicked, you know? The Force is working.
It would have clicked better if it was Brock and not you.
Yes, well, you take what you can get.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like everything clicked and it came together nicely. Timing couldn't have been better.
I was talking to our friend Aaron Quinton, and he was like, "Oh man, my excitement level for it is low," and I think that's risen now. And like a Skywalker, it's risen. I cannot wait. You know, the Vanity Fair came out 2 months ago. This comes out now. We're gonna have a trailer. October is what I'm guessing, and then the movie, and then Mandalorian, and then the movie, and it's just like bam, bam, bam. More levels in Battlefront, just nonstop things happening, and it's gonna be exciting. The Skywalker saga is ending. New beginnings are ahead. What the future holds, we don't know. We never will, but that's what makes it so exciting. Guys, this has been Unleashed. I'm James Ocelia. That is Andrew Fantasia. Thanks so much for watching us here at the Rebel Scum podcast. The next episode of the main show will be happening soon. That will be available wherever you get your podcasts and also right here on YouTube, and video version of it on iTunes as well. But anyway, until next time, may the force of others be with you.
Always.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.